And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for all the feedback that y'all put down in the comments. Trust me, we read them all. I've been reading them all day. You know, I come back every few hours or so, see what y'all been talking about. I told you we're going to be doing that. We're going to be having conversation in the chat there. But we're doing all right. Don't ask. Trust me, I'm cool. But I'm sure y'all are doing all right too. But let us know if you're not, okay? We'll check up on you or something. Me and Bryan was talking backstage. You know,
backstage.
We ain't gonna talk about everything that happened backstage or whatever, but we will have a conversation about making this show a little more draft intensive.
Yeah,
we'll probably be doing some of that. If it's gonna be a whole bunch of Cooper Rush and Trey Lance this year, then I don't foresee those being a bunch of W's. So, you know, we're going to be asking like some softball draft type stuff like, hey, what position? Blah, 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 blah. But maybe in a month or so, we're going to start saying names. I started watching Tet McMillan. I can't say his whole first name. Tet McMillan from Arizona, and boy, that's a guy. You know what I mean? He's a wide receiver, and
you got a dude already, huh? Right out of the chute?
I got a dude. Well, I'm taking this top 100 from PFF and just going down it, and he's up in the top with.
So you're going to use the PFF one? Is what you're going to do?
Well, see, Bryan, look, this you need to understand. I'm privileged now, so you're going to call Dane Brugel and be like, "Hey, give me 100 guys."
I paid for PFF too. Also. I paid for it. So if you're going to use their list,
sure.
And I'm gonna ask Dane. I'm sure I am. I'm gonna ask Dane. I'm gonna ask my gang of 7 guys too. Well, you and I are teammates.
Okay.
You mano y mano here. Here we go. But yeah, if you're gonna start with the PFF list,
sure, then
I think I'll do the same thing. And that way, when we start talking about content, and when the Cowboys are decided that they're, not going to win games anymore, which we might already be at that point. I hope not. I hope they, find a way to turn some things around. But if they don't, we talked about having some shows where, as you mentioned, some draft talk. And I think everybody is always interested in draft talk. So might not be a bad plan, my friend.
I even got it separated, bro. I got quarterbacks, and then I got your running backs right there. So I got them separated by position. And I thought it was interesting, Bryan. We're gonna get into this Eagles breakdown. Dane's list on the Athletic was from like preseason, right? So when I looked at this PFF list, it was some dudes that they're talking about that Dane didn't talk about in preseason. I'm like, well, who is this new dude that y'all talking about? So that's the list I'm gonna roll with. But hey, whenever you get some lists, we're gonna.
Oh no, I'll take care of you, man. I'll take care of you.
And we've already said on camera that Fridays are gonna
be draft days until, like I say, I plan on full time starting to look at players December 1st, but I'm gonna make sure that on every week that I have 2 or 3 players ready that we can kind of visit. And if you're going to go with the PFF grades, then I could just I think you're probably looking at the same dudes, and we can be able to converse.
All right. We'll do it like that. But boy, Bryan Broaddus, until then, boy, man.
Yeah, till then. So, how do you like Philadelphia? How do you like Philadelphia's offensive line?
Honestly, I don't.
See, that's what I was thinking. I think if you, with Micah Parsons coming back this week and maybe some Carl Lawson, I don't think they're the offensive line that we've seen from the Eagles in the past, especially with Jordan Mailata not being involved, Jason Kelsey not being involved. I think it's a little bit different group than what we've seen in the past.
Bryan, you just mentioned Mailata. I think that's a great place to start. We can go and break down the situations now. So I looked up Jalen Hurts sacks this year. He's been sacked 22 times, and I noticed a lot of it comes from left tackle, left guard. That's right. That's just kind of what I've noticed immediately. So even when Mailata was playing or whatever, but since he's definitely come out, pressure and sacks definitely come from that left side. So hopefully Bryan Broaddus, and look, man, we'll see. I would love to see Micah Parsons line up over the left tackle and just run at Jalen Hurts all day. That's what I would love to see.
Yeah, I mean, to me, Fred Johnson's kind of a journeyman guy. It looks like he's found a home in Philadelphia. I kind of saw him and Landon Dickerson. I was like, okay, are my eyes failing me here? Am I seeing pressures? Am I seeing some, and are you seeing some slow-footed play at guard with Dickinson? I Dickerson, excuse me, I called him Dickerson.
Same thing.
It's Dickerson. Yeah. But him, Becton, those guys are pass blocking wise. They got some struggles there. They got some struggles. I mean, in the run game, I think it's a pretty good group when when they're coming off the ball. They've got a really good back. Yeah, here you go. Look at this. Look at that pause. Yeah, Tampa got after their ass.
Sure did.
In this football game and kind of beat them up pretty good. And so, yeah, I'm kind of interested to see, can Dallas do enough in the running game to force this crew to have to throw the ball? And they've got some receivers and they got some talent. We'll see what the situation with AJ Brown is. But I want to ask you this question too,
sure,
Voch, if I could. I kind of view this as if I had to pick the way that I would play defense against these guys and who I would try and take out.
Sure.
And I don't know what the situation is with Dallas Goedert. We'll see. We'll see as the week goes along, if he practices full and all that stuff. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm curious. I would go Smith. I would go Goddard, and then I think I would look at Brown.
Yeah,
is how I would play. I kind of just watching and breaking down these plays. I kind of feel like that's how Jalen Hurts looks at these guys when they run routes.
I think I'll tell you why though, Brian. I think Smith runs more routes.
Right.
I think Brown will stay quiet until the big play happens.
Right.
But I think down in and down out, I think Devontae Smith runs more routes that get him open, and I think Goddard is like the check down guy here or there, or like crossing the field.
Right. I think you're dead on right about that. I just felt like okay, in this game, God, look at this, man. I mean, Tampa is just getting after them.
Well, because Todd Bowles seems to be the only one that gets that pressure bothers Hurts. And these teams, and you'll watch them do it. Me and Will still hate on the Eagles every single week. If you rush 4 and drop, Hurts will eat you alive there.
He'll hold the ball. I mean, that's something he's kind of always done.
Yeah,
he's held the ball, but he's accurate when he holds the ball.
Sure,
which is we saw that in San Francisco with Brock Purdy. Yeah. Remember, we were breaking down Brock Purdy. It was like, oh, he holds the ball. Well, he's accurate holding the ball. But kicking back to Smith, the hitch, the post, those routes, things like he's kind of like the crossing routes. He's that. And you get him down the red zone, he's an absolute B word to have to deal with down there in the red zone. Mm-hmm. I mean, he really, really is tough in the red zone. But I think he's the first option when Hurts gets the ball in hand. I think he's the first option. But this Dallas Goedert thing, if he's healthy enough, and again, hamstring could be a problem.
Sure,
could be a problem. But I see it like playing Kittle. Yeah. Maybe not the downfield stuff that Kittle does, but the delay,
first down,
go out,
first down. Game.
Yeah. I could see that him and, the other tight end, I think, they've got a Calcaterra. Yeah. I think Calcaterra, I think that to me, they play a lot of 12 personnel, Kellen Moore, a lot of 12 personnel. Last week against Jacksonville, they didn't play as much 12 personnel. They played more 11. And maybe it was because Dallas Goedert wasn't in the game.
Sure.
That they really didn't trust Calcaterra and Stoll. They didn't trust those guys. I mean, Calcaterra can make some plays. He's caught the ball.
Sure.
They've thrown him the ball. But I kind of wonder how do you play? Every week we try and give our listeners a little bit of understanding of how do you match up Smith? How do you match up Goddard? How do you match up Brown if you're doing this?
Well, Bryan, I think
and you got to assume you're not. Excuse me, you got to assume you're not going to have Bland.
Yeah.
You know, you got to assume that.
Bryan, I think the Eagles have been watching film on this defense.
Sure.
I think they're going to throw the ball to Saquon a lot because that's what the other teams have been doing to us.
Right.
And so I think the first thing that we got to deal with, Bryan,
right,
is the same thing I've been saying for the past few weeks. If they give the ball to Bijan 30 times, we lose.
See that I'm the same way. I'm just trying to think about how do you get to pressure.
But that's what's going to help us though. I don't think they're going to give the ball to Saquon 30 times because they haven't done it all year. Some games I'll be watching the Eagles. They did it the last couple of weeks, but some games they'll just throw the ball for no reason. Yeah. I'm like, man, that's Kellen Moore right there. They should just give the ball to Saquon and let him whoop people. And Saquon will save the game at the end with some big run at the end. But if you force them to throw the ball somehow,
right,
I think that's the best chance you got.
I do too. I do too. You mean potentially because what will happen is, and I don't think Hurts is making as many mistakes, but there's some games like I know the very first game, the Green Bay game, it was week 1. That seems like ages ago, but running to his right, throwing across his body, middle of the field, like bro, he will make one of those throws every once in a while. You go, what are you thinking, man? You got money on the game today? What do you do? What kind of throw is that?
Which is why Tampa got after him.
That's exactly right.
I don't even think Tampa cared about the coverage.
I don't think they did either.
I think Tampa thought that if you put bodies in his face, his eyes come down.
They come way down. Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I think Tampa's, man, look, damn the cover, just go at him. Which is why on one of these sack plays I showed you, the Eagles went max. They put a running back and a tight end in the backfield. Just said, yo, look, we'll just run 2 receivers down there just to deal with this blitz. And even with max, Jalen Hurts' eyes came down and they was able to get a sack on him. I'm just a dude with a camera and microphone, Bryan Broaddus. But if Mike want to be Antoine Zimmer again, just we look this Cooper Rush game, right? Yeah. We got nothing to lose. We all getting fired at the end of the year anyway, Bryan Broaddus. Just blitz Jalen Hurts every play and see what happens.
Yeah, no, just take your chances. Yeah, I totally agree with you on this because I've seen times where Saquon Barkley and even Gainwell, where they've had to stay in and block and give up. Barkley's given up 2 sacks this year, and 17 dropbacks. He's given up 2 sacks, but he's also caught 2 wheel routes for touchdowns. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So. Yeah, I mean, I like what you're talking about here.
Max, look at this, Max. But Todd Bowles looks at this and say, "Bro, I'm just gonna bring pressure anyway."
Yeah.
And Jalen's eyes are gonna come down. I think that's how you have to attack him. You got to do. You got to attack him like that.
Yeah. Give me quick death over slow death. I don't want slow death. But that's kind of where, to me, if you're going to beat these guys, it's going to have to be getting that pressure. The run game, Dallas, we always talk about Dallas and stack box and all that stuff. And, they're capable, Golston capable, but these are the games, these games that Philadelphia plays with against.
Here's another pressure.
Yeah.
Just do this.
Oh, that's Koromora. Yeah. That's just Koromora running through, that's just Koromora, just they running right off there. He goes.
Oh, Saquon right there. Yeah.
Right. Saquon right there. 2 of those. Barkley's looking like, okay, was I supposed to get some help over there? No, I guess I was supposed to block that guy.
Right.
But that's where I wonder if would you rather, you worry about Carson in this game is because teams have found him. And I don't know. I mean, the poor kid, he's a rookie. His shoulder got hurt. He missed games. He's probably not the most confident guy right now. Where at one time he kind of felt like, in training camp and some of the early, he had some confidence. He'd give up a play, and the next thing you know, he'd make 4 or 5 plays behind that.
Sure.
So I think that they're going to look at him and say, hey, find 21. Let's get our matchups, if we can, over on 21 and see if he can make plays.
Bryan, are we gonna sit DaRon Bland for the rest of the year?
Man, I don't know. And before the Detroit game, obviously there was a setback, and I've never asked anybody, and this is, my apologies to our listeners, because I haven't asked anybody about Bland. I haven't really asked like because he was practicing, and then all of a sudden there was a setback, and then he no longer was practicing or no longer was even attempting to play. I need to circle back and find out that and where they are with Bland. Sure. I know the thing with Carson, talking to folks over there, the injury wasn't healing as quickly as they thought, and it was kind of not progressing in a way that they thought it could get done. So they were dealing with that. But then they finally got it right to where he could play. But Bland, need to ask about that one. Sure. Need to ask. But I'm confident. I'm confident in Jordan Lewis coverage. I'm confident in Diggs. I mean, you heard what Zimmer said. I think it was on Monday. They asked him about the play where, like, are your guys getting it? One of those things. And they were talking about specifically about the play that Mooney had for the touchdown off the wheel. Zim goes, "It's man coverage." Yeah. What's hard about that? It's just man coverage. Yeah. And he left it at that. So, I have confidence in Diggs. I have confidence in Lewis. Carson, I think he's not a confident player right now, but he's having to play because Bland can't answer the bell. Sure. I think Wilson played better the other day in that game, but you didn't put him in a lot of coverage.
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, there was some twist stunt blitz where you were able to get sacks and you brought him as a rusher. Yeah. You put him in the box and let him be that guy. Sure. Don't ask him, they did the smart thing. They had McQuamu out there carrying it, carrying Pitts had one catch. Sure. And it wasn't even on McQuamu. The nearest defender, according to Next Gen Stats, was Diggs. Yeah. Diggs got tagged with the 11-yard catch that guy had. Yeah. So, it's just, you're right. How do you play the run? How can Golston? They don't have. If you get Osa to play the way he played against Atlanta, that's winning football right there. Sure. That's getting double teamed a bunch. Yeah. Getting double teamed a bunch and getting pressures. He had 7 pressures, double teamed like half the damn time.
I would love it. I would love it if he did that all the time.
See, that's the thing. That's the thing that we always like. I asked the question of Derek Eagleton and Amber Garcia and Nick Harris on Tuesday. I asked him yesterday. I said, are we going to see a turnaround? Is this the game? Was this last game the game that's going to propel Osa into finishing off the season better? I'll ask you that same question.
Run that by me one more time so I can think about it.
Oh, it was a good question. You just didn't want to answer it right off the jump.
That's a good question, bro.
Yeah, it was a really good question. You just didn't want to answer it off the jump.
Ask it again from Brian.
I asked my guys on the break, DallasCowboys.com. Yeah. After watching Osa play against Atlanta, is that the game that propels him for the rest of the season?
It's a good-ass question, Bryan Broaddus.
Yeah, you're damn right. It's a good-ass question, Bryan Broaddus.
This is my problem. Hold on, I got this way. There you go.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Brian, this is my problem, man. This is my problem. I've been back and forth with this for a long time.
Yeah.
I consider Osa not new coach proof. I think if a new coach coming here, I think Osa's a fine player, but I don't want to fall victim of overrating my own players, Brian.
No, that's a mistake. Hey, by the way, I saw on YouTube you did a show about what do you call it? The untouchable players or the uncoachable player? What do you call them?
New coach proof.
New coach proof.
Yes, sir.
How many guys you got on that new coach proof list?
It was I didn't write it down, but I went spot by spot. So it was basically Dak. It was Lamb, Tyler Smith, Micah Parsons, Trey Diggs. I think Trey got new money, and I do think Trey is a superstar player. Yeah. I think Deron Bland is.
You're getting a big audience now, so you're having to qualify these when you have to kind of, hey, Diggs, I love him, but
bad year for him. Bad year. Deron Bland.
I see the comments are getting on you too.
It's all right.
Not only they get on me, they get on you too. That
right.
You deserve some of that. You deserve some of the smoke.
I don't care about these people talking crap about me. Deron Bland, I think, is new coach proof, and I think any new coach would love to have Demo 13, Marvin Overshown. They'll love to have him. And besides that, I think like you're solid playing new guys, right? So like Guyton and BB are fine. Nealon's gonna be fine. Past that, I don't know. Kalen Carson might get cut from somebody. I don't know. But I think everybody else, Brian, including Oso Digizua, including DeMarcus Lawrence. Somebody may not want DeMarcus Lawrence part.
Right. That's a good point.
I think all those guys, both your safeties, I think all those guys are not safe.
So your opinion is you don't feel like at this time. And listen, Osa has had times where he's looked good for 13 weeks. We've talked about this. If you're new to the program, welcome. We've talked about for 13 weeks that he could play. He plays very well. And then week 14, 15, 16, things fall apart.
Sure.
I was wondering if now we're to the point where, okay, he realizes a contract year, or did he catch a good matchup? He caught a good matchup in San Francisco, I thought, with Banks.
Yep.
And didn't take advantage of that.
Honestly, Brian, I think Osa has about 3 of these per year. Where Osa
you're
looks,
right.
He looks like a superstar. We go, damn boy, Osa coming, and he don't.
Yeah.
And you don't.
You're right.
So I don't want to fall. I don't want to cut him. And look, we're past the trade deadline, so we're not moving him. I don't think he gets big money, so you can't pick maybe a 6 or whatever. But I don't think Osa's a guy that I'm going to throw money to, because I'm constantly growing and evolving myself, and I want to be careful about overrating my own players, and I don't want to do it no more.
That is one thing. When I was working with Mike Lombardi, and Mike would say the biggest danger of an organization is over-evaluating your own players.
Sure.
Is the minute you start to fall in love with your players, he goes, you're done.
Sure. That's
one thing I really do appreciate about John Snyder out there in Seattle. You could pick up the phone and call John and say, hey, John, I'm interested in, I'm interested in your best guy. And John goes, what are you going to offer? John will listen. John ain't going to hang up the phone on you.
Yeah.
But John ain't falling in love with his players.
Sure.
I think that's the really good general managers in all sports. They don't fall in love with their players. They know they have their star players that they got to take care of, but other ones and stuff, they kind of just move on from guys.
Let me ask you, Brian. Let me ask you, where you at on Ferguson? Ferguson had a fantastic game last week. You could see the yak ability with him. And look, I'm just a dude with a camera and microphone, but if you just use the guy, good things will happen. But unfortunately, boom, boom, we're hurt now, so we're using Ferguson late. And honestly, we got backup quarterbacks going. Ferguson's probably going to be used a lot more. Do you think Ferguson is new coach proof, and is he a contract guy for you? What about that?
I think that I would like to have Ferguson. I think that Ferguson has really. I think he's just a one, and it's a terrible saying. It's one trick pony thing.
Sure.
I'd like to have more of a consistent, like, two-way player.
Yeah.
When it comes to being able to block a little bit and be able to, boy, he's tough. The run after catch is impressive. I think he could be one of those guys that some coach would say, maybe we could do a little bit better here. But, if you think about doing a little bit better right now, damn Luke Schoonmaker's playing one offensive snap a game. I think that, this staff has looked at Luke Schoonmaker and they're saying, listen, if we're going to get fired, we're going to play the guys we want to play. And I really don't think they want to play Luke Schoonmaker anymore.
Yeah.
I think they see that as we missed on that one.
Sure.
We missed. And so Ferguson, I think anybody coming in, like the new coaches would come in and it's like, hey, well, tell me about Ferguson. And they watch the tape and like, God, he looks tough. Looks like run after catch.
Sure.
Doesn't block very much. And I think somebody would get excited about that, but at what cost?
Sure.
What cost? It's a shame that you've used a second-round pick on a guy that, looks like is not going to help you, and Luke Schoonmaker. That's a shame. But, that's where we're at right now.
Brian,
let me ask you real quick on this question because, dude, we didn't talk about, because I'm on these couple of different these platforms and stuff. If somebody offered you a 4 right now, or would have offered you a 4, like what Carolina did for Mozzie Smith, you'd absolutely take that right now, wouldn't you?
Man, hell yeah. For Mozzie? Yeah.
See, it was Bobby. Bobby said, Bobby and I were in love with the Star. That's where it was. I'm trying to remember what platform I was on.
Brian,
Bobby goes, if somebody offered you a 4, he was trying to make a comparison to what Dallas did with the guy they traded for yesterday.
Sure. I already consider Mozzie a lost 1. He's already a lost first round pick in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
I would rather get a 4 for Mozzie now than to get a nothing for Mozzie later. You can't even get a comp pick for Mozzie later. You can't even get savings on your damn cap with Mozzie later. Yeah. So I'm trying to get some for Mozzie right now. I'll take that.
See, that's what Bobby asked me. It's like this would be very similar. And Mozzie was taken, I think, 20 picks ahead of where I think somewhere around there of where Mingo was taken. And Bobby asked me, he goes, you would take a 4 right now, wouldn't you?
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, I would. And he goes, that's kind of what Carolina just did.
Yeah.
That's kind of what Carolina just did. They got a 4 for a second round, what would be a mistake for them.
No, look, we praise Carolina for getting the 4 for Mingo.
Yeah.
I'm waving my finger at Jerry Jones that we gave up before to get him.
Yeah. They gave the 4 because of the young guy. Matter of fact, I heard they had that kid in the top of the 3rd round. Grade of a 1.30 was his grade. So that was the top of the 3rd round. Yeah. So they, everybody was kind of thinking, it's got to be a second round. No, had him in the 3rd, top of the 3rd. Not the bottom of the 3rd or damn near the 4th, but it was right there, 2nd, 3rd, but more right there in the 3rd.
Brian, so, you don't buy a used car full price, dude.
I know, man. I hear you.
Once you pull that joint off the lot, it's draft the same way. Once he's in the league, it's different.
Yeah.
Brian, go ahead.
Real quick on this one too.
Please, hell yeah, please.
You're worried about Barkley, aren't you? In this game,
yeah, for sure. The only thing that can save us from Barkley.
Is like Barkley being like the Giants and getting like a twist in an ankle or something like that?
No. Because
and I'm not wishing for injury. I'm just saying he has a history of playing the Cowboys and not being able to finish games.
No, because I think Gainwell will whoop us if they just give it to him.
Yeah,
I feel like the only thing that can save us is if the offense coordinator gets in his ego and throws the football. The same with San Francisco, the same with Atlanta. I'm keeping this consistent here. If you just run the ball with Jordan Mason, you blow us out way sooner than you do. Just run the ball with Bijan. We started off looking decent on defense. Just keep running the ball with Bijan. You'll get to us eventually.
It's down, yeah.
If they stop running the ball with Saquon, the Cowboys have a shot.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. I'm
that way too. I interrupted you like 7 times. What do you got?
Man, Brian, this is doing all right. We're fine. I want to prep you for a question that I'm going to ask you Friday.
Oh.
I'm going to prep you for a question that we're...
So I got homework?
No, I ain't got homework. Just something to think about. The Cowboys got 10 picks.
They have 9. They have 9, don't they?
1, 2, 3, a 5th, 3 compensatory 5s.
Okay.
A 6, a compensatory 6, and a new 7 that used to be a 4.
Okay. I see that's right. They got the 7 back. I forgot about the 7. Okay.
Of course you forgot about the damn 7. Like we all do. You got 10 picks, Brian.
I can't wait. By the way, I can't wait till we're doing the draft show together. And that pick comes up and I'm going to ask you. I'm like, Voch, who do you got left on your board?
I got to learn some names just to have somebody to say to you,
man.
Right?
You just got to. You got to be prepared. You got to have names ready, man. People want names.
I'm taking this thing incredibly serious.
You should, because I do.
Yeah, I do. I understand. But Brian, this is my 1 through 10 that I didn't do a mock draft. I just did like a rough
positional
draft.
thing.
A positional thing. I took wide receiver with my first pick.
Okay.
Running back with my second. Specifically, I took the best 3 tech available in the 3rd round.
Okay.
I said 3 tech in particular. We skipped 4. By the time we get to round 5, I'm looking for a guard. The Cowboys normally draft a tight end right around there, and I'm assuming that they're going to move on from Luke. Tight end, edge, corner, and okay, so those are my 5ths. Guard, tight end, edge, and corner. Those are my 5ths. My 2-6, a strong safety that plays in the box. and a 1 tech. And my 7th round pick, I picked a linebacker that they liked that they didn't want to get the free agency that's going to play teams for us.
Man, you're learning about this game.
That's what the Cowboys do. That's what they do.
You know exactly what they're going to do. Somebody they don't want to fight for.
I want you to think about Bryan Broaddus when I ask you on Friday.
All right, 10 picks.
With the Cowboys 10 picks, where do we double down, or do we double down? I see some people saying, "Well, Voch, I'll double down at running back." We have to double down at defensive tackle. We're not good there.
The first thing I thought of was defensive tackle, to be honest with you.
I want you to think about it, and we'll come back Friday and we'll talk about it. That's going to be my first question for you. Where do we double down?
Tomorrow I get to start looking at tape. But Friday, though, Friday we got Friday question. We got to talk about draft, though, and the Friday questions both, huh?
Well, yeah, but our Friday question is going to be draft questions. So
yeah, that's you're probably right about that. And I will. Yeah, I will. I will have something. Sure. I'll have something ready for you, and I'll give you good reasons why.
And you guys, just to get ahead of it, you can go in the chat now, and just be like, "Hey, draft question for Friday or whatever." Draft question, but look, don't say, Don't ask me about a guy from Northern Illinois right off the jump.
It's November. Give me a couple. Give me a month, and I'll have a guy from Northern Illinois or a guy from Pittsburgh State, Kansas, or something like that. Yeah.
Right now, give us like position stuff. Give us like Cowboy roster stuff. Don't ask me about the 7th round picks. All right. Y'all can ask us questions like that, and we'll have those ready for Friday when we get here. All right. But tomorrow we're gonna break down the Eagles' defense.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, they're struggling there, bro.
We are too. We are too with damn Cooper Rush.
I forgot who I work for. I forgot.
Hey man, y'all ready to get this top 10 pick or what? We love y'all pieces. Y'all tap in vochlombardi. All right. Y'all tap in to Bryan Broaddus on social medias, and we'll be reading y'all comments overnight as well. Okay. We love y'all to pieces. Y'all hold it down. Until next time, Thursday and Friday. Crown.